We're going to go back to the comments today. Asmini Ilmas asks, hi, do you have also a video with all EQ filter types explained? And the answer is no, but I do now. So I'm going to start a new series with the MPC3 based on all of the EQ and filter types. We're going to go through each EQ and filter type one by one in this series. Before we get started with the demonstration, I have to emphasize the importance of having a dedicated EQ reference chart. I typically go the textbook route. My preferred textbook of choice is The Art of Mixing. I believe we're on a further edition these days anyway. This is a somewhat antiquated book, but either which way, the principles stay the same. The one thing I like about this frequency guide is that not only does it give you the instrument, but it also gives you the instrument's attributes across several frequency bands. So for example, we'll be dealing with the voice today. So the rumble of the voice exists between 40 and 100 hertz, the fullness of the voice 100 to 200 hertz, the muddiness of the voice 200 to 800 hertz, etc., etc. Everything is charted out for you from left to right, top to bottom. So with all that being said, let's dive into the project. All right, so some time ago, I had a project that sounds something like this. Okay, so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus in on the vocal track. So let's throw in an insert. Let's go to our EQ and filters, and we're going to start with the air enhancer. Question, what is an air enhancer? Well, as the name implies, what it does is it enhances the harmonic content across a select series of frequency bands. Let's go into the edit here. All right, so let's go through the description left to right, top to bottom. All right, so I have my high gain, low gain, and my overall output, right? So the high gain, so this is my high gain in decibels. So basically all it's saying is that I can augment or attenuate the gain on the select high frequency band. Subsequently, respectfully, I can do the exact same thing with the low gain, enhance or attenuate the low gain on a select frequency band. The overall output just controls the amplitude of the original signal. And then I have two sections down here, one for harmonics and one for phase. So let's talk about harmonics. Adding harmonics to a particular frequency band is just another way of saying saturation, not to be confused with distortion. Basically, it can distort the signal, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, all it's doing is it's enhancing some of the more harmonic content of the select frequency bands that we've upped the amplitude on. And then we have a phase button. So the unfortunate thing is that sometimes when you enhance these frequency bands, you can cause a phase correlation issue. The best way I can describe that is you sit down, you're editing your production, and then you give it the good old quote unquote car test. And then what you realize is that in your car speakers, the vocals all of a sudden sound like they're underwater. Well, the reason that happened was because there was a phase correlation issue during the production process. And because we didn't have a phase correlation detector, we couldn't pick up on it. I typically use an external phase correlation detector. TC Electronic does one. It's really, really good. But in the event that you don't have access to one of those, I would just use different monitor sources. Use your studio monitors in conjunction with your closed back headphones and different headphone types. So you have closed back, semi-open back, open back headphones. Use different output sources to pick up on these things proactively. Now, going back to the phase button here, in the event that you experience any phase correlation issues, you can invert the phase of your track, and that typically corrects it. I've yet to encounter that, so I think we're going to be okay here. All right, so let's talk about this vocal for a moment. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my reference chart here. Now, as far as the high gain goes for the vocal, I know that the crispness and the clarity and the sibilance all exists between 5 kilohertz and 8 kilohertz. So that'll be a good starting point for me. So I'm going to take my high gain, I'm going to dial it over to about 5 kilohertz here. All right, now as far as the low is concerned, I have to decide on whether or not I'm going to attenuate the muddiness or augment the fullness. The fullness exists between 100 to 200 hertz, and the muddiness exists between 200 to 800 hertz. Now, I do have limitations here as far as the low end is concerned. Can't quite get to 800. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the 100 range. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to enhance the fullness of the vocal as we go along. All right. So we have yet to add, we have yet to augment any of these frequency bands just yet. Let's just play this through, and we'll adjust the gain and the frequencies to taste. Let's go. So again, going back to the reference material that I used, so it was pretty spot on initially. I did have to make a couple of enhancements there, but right around 5 kilohertz for the high, and right around just about, we're 14 shy of 200 kilohertz on the low end. That gave me pretty much the result that I was anticipating. All right, so now let's see if we can add a little bit of harmonic content. Now, again, with harmonics, you can distort your signal. So I'm going to be very, very modest with my application here. And there we go. All right, good. So with the air enhancer, very little goes a long way. So now let's compare and see how we fare. Off. Now let's turn it on. Oops. And there we are. And there we have it. I didn't pick up any phase correlation issues, so I think we're good to go on that front. All right, guys, so that pretty much does it for the air enhancer. So any event that you just want to enhance the overall audio quality of a particular element, a vocal, piano, bass guitar, lead guitar, whatever, target those frequency ranges, use the air enhancer, and see how you fare. And again, adjust to taste and what have you. And don't forget to pick up a good EQ reference guide, okay? I cannot emphasize that enough. All right, guys, I'm hoping that that was helpful. If you guys have any questions about anything that you saw here today, please feel free to leave any questions that you have in the comments. I'll be sure to get back with you soon. And stay tuned for part 2 of this series. All right, talk to you guys soon.